their foramen magnum, as you can see here, is at the back of the skull. So that is a genetic trait.
Deep within the desolate Peruvian desert sands lay a mystery beyond human comprehension. Archaeologists discovered skulls that bore no resemblance to any human, long, heavy, and fused in ways that even human anatomy could not fathom. This was the Paracas Peninsula, where the Pacific Ocean's shores meet dry, lifeless sand. A land where nothing living can survive, but buried beneath that very sand lay history's most horrifying truth. In 1927, Peruvian archaeologist Julio Tello began excavating this site. Local farmers reported seeing fragments of clothing and bones emerging from the sand after strong winds. Tello thought they might be the remains of an ancient coastal tribe. But as the excavation deepened, his team discovered something that shook the entire archaeological world. Not dozens, but hundreds of skulls that bore no resemblance to humans. Some were so elongated that the head had doubled its normal size, and the bones had fused in a way no human body could replicate. Initially, it was called an ancient beauty ritual. People assumed it was perhaps a cultural, deforming tradition. But when AI analyzed the DNA of these skulls, the truth horrified everyone. Some DNA segments were found that did not match any known human species. Artificial intelligence confirmed these were not human, or perhaps not entirely human. Scientists said, "This is proof that extraterrestrial beings once walked the earth, among us. The same beings who perhaps imparted knowledge to ancient civilizations and then disappeared." Now the question isn't just whose skulls these are. The question is, do they still exist somewhere? So friends, watch this video until the end, because what AI reveals could change our entire human history. And yes, if you too want to know the truth, like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe, because this mystery is about to be revealed. The truth buried beneath the sands of Peru. The Paracas Peninsula, stretching along the southern coast of Peru, is a place where the earth and the sea seem to have forgotten how to communicate. All around is dry sand, strong winds, and mountains of stone. There are no trees, no greenery, and no streams of water. The sun shines so intensely that even the sand seems to burn. Silence pervades the region, as if this land has been holding a secret for centuries. When the wind blows, the sand swirls as if whispering from a forgotten soul. The uniqueness of this place is that there is no sign of life. Forget about animals. Sometimes even small insects are not visible. Rain falls once a year, and that too for a few minutes. So when archaeologists suggested that a civilization might exist beneath this lifeless sand, no one believed it. Because in a region where even plants cannot survive, human existence seemed impossible. But the silence of the Paracas Peninsula told a different story, a story thousands of years old. Scientists believe this place has one of the harshest environments on Earth. The scorching desert during the day and the freezing temperatures at night, both dangerous for any living thing. This is why anything buried beneath the sand here remains safe for centuries. This is why, when excavations began, archaeologists discovered artifacts and bones in almost the same condition as they were buried thousands of years ago. This makes this place even more mysterious. Visitors of the Paracas Peninsula say it is as beautiful as it is terrifying. Silence stretches across the golden sand. No movement, no sound. It seems as if time has stood still beneath the sand. But hidden beneath this silence was a mystery that shook history. Elongated skulls that were not human-like. This was the region where one of the world's strangest discoveries was born, and where a story that remains unsolved to this day remains unsolved. The year was 1927. Archaeology was still in its infancy in Peru, and few people were willing to delve so deeply into the true history of ancient civilizations. One such figure was Julio César Tello, today known as the father of Peruvian archaeology. Tello was born into a simple farming family, but from childhood, he was interested in the stories buried beneath the soil. While other children played with toys, he would dig in the ground and look for old stones and bones. He later studied anthropology and archaeology, and his dream was to bring the truth of Peru's past to the world. Tello always believed that Peruvian civilization wasn't limited to the Inca, but that a mysterious culture, even older than that, existed here. He knew that some of history's greatest stories lay buried beneath the sand. So when some local farmers on the Paracas Peninsula told him that fragments of cloth and bones were emerging from the sand, he immediately began preparing for an expedition. People had reported seeing strangely shaped bones emerge after the wind blew. This was Tello's chance. Perhaps he could discover something that would change the course of history. After months of planning, in 1927 he and his archaeological team began excavating the sands of Paracas. During the day and night excavations, they carefully removed each layer. Fragments of cloth, pottery, and wooden remains gradually surfaced. But soon after, when the excavations reached a few feet deep, what they found stunned everyone. Beneath the sand lay a series of skeletons, dozens of bones and several skulls, all shaped unlike any human. These skulls were unusually long. The back of the head was so elongated and stretched that the first thought of the observer was, "Are these even human?" The fusion pattern of the bones did not match any natural human skull. A normal human head contains many different bones that fuse with age. But in these skulls, those bones were already fused, as if someone had specially designed them. When Tello first picked them up and looked at them, he was speechless for a while. The entire team was astonished. Some suggested that perhaps it was a deformity, that some ancient tribe had deliberately altered the shape of the children's heads by tying wood or cloth to them. But Tello was skeptical. He felt it wasn't that simple. He wondered, if it's a deformation, why is its structure so perfect? And why does every skull have the same pattern? The excavation progressed slowly, and they uncovered over 300 skulls. Each one shared a common characteristic, an unusually elongated shape, unusual weight, and varying bone density. Some skulls were so perfectly balanced that they didn't appear to be the result of a natural mutation. This spread a strange sense of dread throughout the excavation camp. Some archaeologists suggested that these might have belonged to an unknown tribe whose evolution had separated from the rest of humanity. Some believed it was part of an ancient ritual. But what puzzled everyone was the structure of these skulls. They lacked the cranial sutures that every human possesses. This meant it was medically impossible to say whether they were pure humans. Julio Tello wrote in his diary that night, "What I saw today could change the definition not just of Peru, but of all human civilization. These bones come from another era, perhaps another world." From that day on, the Paracas Peninsula was no longer an ordinary place. Where there had once been only sand and silence, now lay the most terrifying discovery in history. And this was just the beginning. The real mystery was to be revealed when the DNA of these skulls reached the hands of modern AI. When the Paracas excavations uncovered those strangely elongated skulls, the scientific community was in uproar. But within a few months, an official explanation emerged that attempted to put the mystery to rest. Experts stated that they were not a mysterious species, but the result of a primitive ritual, a custom practiced by ancient people as a form of beauty. They believed that these skulls were artificially elongated to make a person appear royal or different. According to this theory, pieces of wood or strips of cloth were tied to a child's head shortly after birth, gradually elongating the skull. In many cultures, this practice was considered a status symbol. The longer the head, the higher the status. This practice was practiced in ancient Egypt, Africa, and even some Central Asian tribes. This practice was not cruelty, but a symbol of honor and identity. Experts also put the Paracas skulls in this category, saying, this is not deformity, but cultural art. But the real question was, did this explanation explain everything? The answer was no, because there were several things in the Paracas skulls that didn't fit this theory. Scientists noted that the skulls had a volume 25% greater than a normal human head, whereas artificial deformation can change the shape of the head, but not increase its volume. Furthermore, the bone thickness and density of these skulls were unusual. In some areas, the bones were so heavy that they appeared to be almost twice as strong as a normal human head. Another surprising thing was that these skulls lacked the cranial sutures that every human head has. In a normal skull, different bones fuse over time, but in the Paracas skulls, this fusion had already occurred, and in an unknown pattern. Many anatomists stated that this could not be a natural deformation, as the human body cannot develop such a structure. Some researchers also pointed out that the foramen magnum of these skulls, the place where the spinal cord connects, was located in a different location. This suggests that their body structure may not have been like that of a normal human. If these heads had been artificially altered, the position of the spinal connection would not have changed. This fact further questioned the primitive ritual theory. While older archaeologists insisted that this was all part of human culture, the new generation of scientists remained silent. They asked, if this is deformity, then why is the genetic structure of these skulls so different? Why are microscopic tests of bone tissue giving different results? With each new investigation, questions grew and answers became murkier. This was a time when science and mystery stood face to face. Older experts wanted to dismiss it as a human ritual, while some researchers were convinced there was something beyond our understanding. The Paracas skulls were no longer just an archaeological curiosity. They were the beginning of a mystery that challenged the boundaries of science, history, and humanity for decades to come. For decades, the Paracas skulls languished in museums and laboratories around the world. Old theories were repeated. It's a deformity, not a mystery. But by the 21st century, technology had changed the face of archaeology. Techniques like artificial intelligence and genetic sequencing were no longer just science fiction. They had become tools that could unlock the mysteries of the past. This is why some researchers decided to examine these mysterious skulls through the lens of AI. The use of AI was revolutionary because it could go beyond the limitations of traditional archaeology and analyze at the microscopic and molecular level. Previously, scientists could only make assumptions based on the shape and structure of the skull, but AI could access bone density, carbon traces, and genetic fragments, all with pinpoint accuracy. In this project, AI was programmed to compare ancient DNA sequences with the modern human genome and highlight any mismatches. When the testing began after years of research, the entire archaeological world was focused on Paracas. It was hoped that the test would prove that these skulls were deformities of an ancient tribe, and the mystery would be put to rest forever. But what the AI revealed became the most shocking truth in history. After DNA extraction, when the AI analyzed the sample data, its algorithms detected genetic codes that did not match any known human lineage. These segments contain nucleotide structures unrecorded in modern genetic databases. Some patterns were so unfamiliar that the supercomputers initially considered them errors. But when cross-verified, it became clear. This was not an error, but a non-human DNA structure. The entire research team remained silent for a few minutes after hearing this result. Scientists who had taken it lightly, thinking it was a beauty ritual, were now in shock. According to reports, the AI revealed that approximately 8% of the DNA in these skulls was non-human. Some genes were found that were not found in any known mammal or primate species. This meant that these creatures were neither fully human nor related to any known species. The AI also revealed several strange features. In the bone microstructure, its internal density was not uniform but rather had crystalline patterns that behaved like a metallic composition. One algorithm predicted that this genetic line likely came from an evolutionary branch that did not originate on Earth. Hearing this, many experts said, if this is true, then our human origin theory will have to be rewritten. Some scientists tried to explain the data. Some suggested contamination. Others suggested it could be a mutation. But repeated testing yielded the same results. The AI consistently showed that some DNA strands did not match any known human reference genome. And most alarmingly, it also suggested that traces of these genetic markers may still exist in isolated regions. This means that the species is not completely extinct. The scientific world was divided into two parts as soon as these results came out. Some researchers said, this could be the missing link in our evolution, while others said, these are clear extraterrestrial signals. Paracas had now become the biggest case not just of archaeology, but of alien-human connection. What AI did wasn't just testing, it lifted the deepest layer of history. Now the question wasn't whether these skulls were deformities or not. The question was, were humans ever alone? This mystery was no longer confined to ancient sand, but had entered the microscopic world of DNA, from where every information returned was going to shake the entire chapter of our human origin. When the AI test results were revealed, proving that the Paracas skulls contained DNA that didn't match any known human species, it caused a sea quake in the scientific community. Many experts remained silent, but a few courageous researchers openly declared that this could be evidence of extraterrestrial origin. They argued that if this DNA didn't connect with any Earth-based species, its source must be outside the Earth. Gradually, this discussion wasn't confined to laboratories. It spread worldwide, and Paracas became a story not just about archaeology, but about the alien-human connection. Many experts link this to the Nazca lines, located in another part of Peru, huge geoglyphs visible only from the sky. The question arose, if the ancient people of Nazca created such large designs solely for aerial viewing, were they sending signals to some visitors from the sky? And did these same visitors also come to Paracas, somehow genetically altering the people there? Some researchers even suggested that the Paracas skulls may be memories of those visitors, those who lived among humans, taught, and then disappeared. This theory sounds incredible at first, but there's logic behind it. The DNA found in the AI data not only differed from that of humans, but also had molecular structures that indicated high radiation adaptation, as if they came from another planet or a harsh environment. Some evolutionary biologists even believe that if it wasn't a mutation, then it might have been an extraterrestrial origin. Similar clues have been found in ancient structures before, whether it's the advanced engineering of the Egyptian pyramids or the perfect alignment of Mayan temples, all of which strengthen the theory that an alien force once walked the earth. Now that the mystery of Paracas was beginning to unravel, scientists looked for global parallels. Have such elongated skulls been found in other parts of the world? The answer was yes. Royal skulls found during the Amarna period in Egypt were also unusually tall. The statues of King Akhenaten himself, Queen Nefertiti, and their children depict heads so elongated that even today people wonder, were they also related to the Paracas bloodline? Ancient tribes in the Congo region of Africa also had a tradition of elongated heads. And some archaeological excavations in the Caucasus region of Russia and France have uncovered elongated skulls. In Asia, especially in Central Asia and China, some ancient cemeteries have yielded bones that closely resemble Paracas skulls. This similarity was not just in size, but also in bone density and cranial volume. All this raised a new question. Were these experiments unique to different cultures? Or were they all influenced by the same source? Did a species arrive thousands of years ago and live among humans in different parts of the world, genetically altering them? Some experts believe this was a shared ancient memory, where people began worshiping beings who came from the sky. Over time, in imitation of them, humans adopted the practice of elongating their heads to resemble them. The Paracas skulls were likely the original beings, and other civilizations their imitators. This idea is so deeply ingrained that many archaeologists consider it a scientific taboo. But with each new discovery, this theory becomes increasingly difficult to dismiss. Whether it's the alien-like precision of the Nazca lines, the elongated skulls of Egyptian pharaohs, or African rituals, a pattern appears everywhere. AI not only showed us differences in DNA, but also revealed a global connection. It seems as if some unknown civilization or extraterrestrial visitors spread across Earth thousands of years ago, leaving their mark on various corners of humanity. The sands of Paracas didn't just unlock an ancient mystery, they may have proven that we humans aren't as alone as we thought. When AI was run on 3D scans and cranial data of Paracas skulls, the patterns that emerged took the story to a new turn. Previously, scientists only measured the length and width of the skull, but AI went deeper than that. It compared bone thickness, curvature ratio, and internal cavity mapping, and the result was something that seemed like a new branch of evolution. AI models showed that the internal geometry of these skulls is completely symmetrical, as if it were created by an intelligent design. In the graphics generated by AI and the visualization data, the skull base and eye socket alignment were completely different from those of humans. While human skulls have eyes aligned horizontally, Paracas skulls have theirs tilted upward, as if they had evolved to see a different light spectrum. The bone density map also revealed something that doesn't match a natural mutation. Tiny hollow chambers inside the skull, perhaps for balance or pressure control. The AI algorithm called these structural optimizations, suggesting that these skulls were likely the result of some advanced biological adaptation. After this discovery, the scientific community was divided. On one side were traditional archaeologists, who for decades had considered this subject an ancient ritual. This AI claim was unacceptable to them. They said, history cannot be written based on the results of an algorithm. They believed that machines do not understand context, whereas archaeology is based solely on context. They also feared that if this theory were accepted, their entire academic legacy would be called into question. On the other side were modern AI scientists and genetic experts, who believed that the evidence spoke for itself. They argued that DNA mismatches, bone ratios, and structural designs were beyond the reach of any culture in the name of ritual. One scientist said, if this were deformity, the symmetry in each skull would be different. But here, each one has the same precise pattern. This seems to be engineering, not nature. The controversy between these two sides escalated to the point of heated arguments at several conferences. Some archaeologists dismissed the AI data as a technological fantasy, while the AI team countered, we've only shown the data. The interpretation is up to you. This controversy gradually reached the media and became a topic of discussion worldwide. It was no longer a scientific issue. It had become a global curiosity. When news broke that AI had discovered non-human patterns in the Paracas skulls, social media exploded. Thousands of people on Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube began theorizing. Some said it was proof that aliens had visited Earth thousands of years ago. Others wrote that it was evidence of a hybrid civilization, a species made up of DNA from humans and extraterrestrials. Some users zoomed into the 3D skull models created by the AI and made videos, commenting that the eye sockets look like alien gray. The media further sensationalized the situation. Headlines flew, AI confirms alien DNA in ancient skulls. Evidence of lost visitors found in Peruvian desert. News anchors debated whether this discovery was the biggest turning point in science or just an overhyped mystery. Some scientists said in live interviews, AI provided the data, the interpretation is up to us. But the public had already formed its own opinion. A thread went viral on Reddit in which users created an entire alien visitation timeline, linking the Nazca lines, the Egyptian pyramids, and the Paracas skulls. Someone wrote, it's all the same blueprint, the same source. Thousands of documentaries and breakdown videos began appearing on YouTube. Everyone offered their theories: government cover-up, Vatican secrets, DNA cloning experiment, and hidden extraterrestrial race. Those skulls buried in the sands of Paracas were no longer just archaeological objects. They had become a symbol of human civilization's greatest question. Are we really alone? The patterns revealed by AI models deepened this question, and now every corner of the world was part of this debate. Some were calling it a scientific revolution, some a modern myth. But the truth was that history was never going to be the same again. When the AI completed its final analysis of the Paracas skulls, it revealed a truth no one wanted to hear: the final stage of genetic sequencing revealed that the DNA of these skulls contained unknown sequences that were not present in any known human, animal, or microbial database. The pattern of these genes was so complex that the AI labeled it non-terrestrial genetic architecture. Most frighteningly, these sequences possessed characteristics such as self-repair and rapid adaptation, meaning the DNA could adapt to different environments. This seemed to be the result of a designed intelligence, not simple evolution. The AI's prediction model also showed that traces of these genetic markers were still visible in samples from some modern isolated tribes. This meant the species was not completely extinct. Perhaps their descendants still exist in some remote location or unexplored region. This data sent shockwaves among scientists. A senior geneticist said, if this is true, then we are misunderstanding not just history, but the present as well. Some researchers fearfully asked, if they still exist somewhere, are they watching us? After this discovery, there was a strange silence among the entire team. There was no joy, only a sense of unease. because the question now was not who they were, but where they are now. All the AI calculations pointed to the fact that this genetic line did not suddenly end, but merge somewhere, perhaps within us, within our genes, within our own story. Perhaps we have misunderstood history. Perhaps humans are not who they think they are. Have we truly discovered our origins? Or has the real question now begun? Who are we? A moment of silence. Then the screen fades in. If you think this story ends here, think again. The truth is just beginning. Like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe, because in the next episode, we'll show you the place where this species may still be alive.